Okay, the trick in this video is to show you how to work on a slip issue on what we'd call the automatic transmission, hydrostatic, however you want to say it, top lawnmowers. If you've changed a belt and it still wants to slip, or you can just tell it's not quite right, this little trick may help. So enjoy. Okay, here's the hack. So you got your drive belt here. It goes around that, and then that pushes out. Well, this is a new belt, still wanted to slip, so you got spring. Spring hooks in here and goes on up. Spring looks good, but when you pull the pedal back, it'll actually start getting better traction. I mean, it pulls, but you pull it back and it pulls even better. So I wanted that tighter than it would get. Even though the spring looks good, and it's such a pain to get on there and off of there, I followed the other end of it. And this is the front of the mower without the cover on. It came out right here and it hooked in right here. Well, I took this piece, took some vice grips, pulled it forward, and there was a hole here. So this thing shifted the thing forward about 3/8 inch. Put the bolt there with a Loctite nut on it where it can't work its way off. Okay, so that way you've got it tighter without having to change the spring or anything. And this can be undone and let loose if you ever had to change the spring. So I was gonna just drill another hole and go up to the hole, but that spring is such a pain to mess with. And you know, being made out of spring steel, it'll break on you if you try to just pull it through. So instead of fighting with another hole, I done it this way, and it works. Okay, let me try to answer a couple of questions you may have. The first question is, how did I move it so far in a little bitty round hole? And the other thing, what did I mean by spring steel? Well, how to move it so far in a little bitty round hole is, first of all, it's not a little bitty round hole. It's got the metal over so you're not seeing it real well, but it's actually an oval hole, kind of this shape. And they do that because the spring is already hooked on the other end. And it's real stiff steel. So when you get this end, you can't be working it all around to make that little pointy end go through the hole and then let it relax. You've got a hook. So how are you going to get it in there without turning it? Well, that's why they allow that little notch out, the little oval hole where you can just push that hook part through and then let it snatch, catch. So that's why it's like that. But since I wanted a little more pressure on it, I can't just grab the end of it because, again, spring steel is a hardened steel that if you bend it too much, it'll just shatter, it'll break. Which is what makes it good for springs. It goes so far and then it really wants to come back to where it was, but if you go a little bit more than that, it'll break. So that's why it's just hooked on there, and I had another hole there, and I put a bolt through it. And since I had that little slack in there, I was able to push it forward, 3/8 inch, and mount it down. I used a locking nut so that it can't work its way back off. But if it ever had to be worked on in the future, you just release that and the spring will come back loose like it was, which is still going to have its normal pressure, but it'll come back loose like it was. You can take it out just like you normally would. Whereas if I had drilled another hole in front of that and fought with the spring and got up under there and really got it in there to take the slack out, well, then the spring's that much tighter. It's going to be that much of a pain to get out because it has no release. You have to fight with it that extra amount to fight the extra pressure that's on the spring to get it out. But the way I did it there, you get it up there with a pair of vice grips or something, get it through there, and then you can release that pressure from right there. It's a lot safer all the way around. Anyway, I hope this helps. Thank you.